All right, we're going. Yes, welcome to the No Safe Project. We're live from Libertopia 2014. We're in San Diego, right? Yeah, San Diego, beautiful San Diego, town and country. If you are in San Diego, that's the thing, I got to get used to I usually don't have that. It's usually just there and I can move around and do my thing there, but I want to welcome everyone here. Welcome everyone here. Just say hello. Hey!
Oh!
Hey. Yeah, make it sound like it's a really, the room is full.
Yeah, it's a closet. But
it's a closet, but it's actually pretty nice. But I want to welcome everyone. If you're in San Diego, please, there's still a lot to do here at Libertopia. And there's a big thing tonight, but you know, I'm so ill prepared for this. People say, hey, when's the meet and greet or the, I don't know, but there's still a lot of things to get to. Butler Schaefer is going to be speaking, so we definitely don't want to miss that. I want to introduce, I know we're going to have the video of this. So what I want to do is, he was instrumental in the disaster that was the cover of, hey, you were part of the other disaster of the text, so don't start. Joining me here on the show, you recognize him from Walking Dead, Rick, but it's Brian, and hey, I appreciate you being on, and show that we have the cover of the book here, so you actually talk about dedication. And Mark, you did we'll get you up next. So he's off camera there. But this was a group effort. But it was a disaster getting to this point because I was going to have it drawn, and nobody was able to get it drawn the way you was looking for it.
What about the original artist that did the original, the pre-release? You had an artist for that one, right?
Well, the pre-release, yes. That and he's credited in the book. But that was not. That's actually the it's the title page.
Oh yeah.
It was the title page. So the artist that they just weren't working out. He wanted something like this to go off of. So I still had to do something real, which it was a disaster, of course. And you guys pulled together. We showed up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark. It was a couple of weeks after Libertopia 2013, and we have it. And so I knew it was a fit because after the other professional sandcastle guy bailed, he had some other, a real job to do instead of working on this. He recommended a guy named JT, and I'm like, hey, JT, of course we miss you here, big guy, who co-hosts the show, and I figured that, and it worked. So you guys showed up. It was really early. My kids were freezing. It was really cold.
Cold water.
It was really cool. But we put this together, so I want to publicly again thank you for that. And tell us a little bit about that, how much fun that was.
It was early. Basically the whole process, probably 10% of it was actually making the structure. And then the other 90% of the time we're building a big berm to keep the tide from taking it out too early. So we're just huffing it and making that big berm to keep it out. But it was a good time. Water was cold. Pacific water's cold. But yeah, I liked it. It was nice. A bunch of people came up and asked us questions. So there were kind of, people wandering around asking, well, what are you doing making a wall called government?
Yeah, that was, it did, when I did it the first time, and maybe I'll release the pictures because it was nothing like this. This guy, JT, if you've ever seen how they do this guy is a pro. Oh, we have pictures, and you sent me video, which I want to get posted too. What you have to do because that was actually what? Would you say it was about 3 feet high? The actual government?
Yeah.
And what you do is you got to start with a box, and he's got straps around it. And so we're going against the clock here because he had a real gig to do after that. And so you got to fill the box up with sand and then layer it with water, and he's got that cement tool that you pack it down, and then of course you remove the box, and then you start doing the actual carving, and that's where you and I were doing more of where we're trying to build this berm,
yeah,
to keep the water from hitting it.
Well, not necessarily hitting it from going all the way through, because the water kept hitting it. We just had to keep piling it on.
Well, there was nothing that we could do. We were able to keep it from really from getting to where, like on the back of the book, where it is anarchy accepted, where it did. Of course, the whole point of it was to have it wash away. You got it? So, and of course the concept. What do you think of the concept of the government's castle made a stand?
Completely appropriate. Once you eliminate the, how you do, you break it down, you take on their concept of it, and then you use facts and evidence to destroy their opinions. It really is a castle of sand.
Well, how did it happen? How did it happen for you? I mean, we can see your shirt. You've got the A3, okay, Agora, Anarchy, Action. So, what's your story?
For me, like many, it started out seeing Ron Paul, that movement going on, and then I got more interested, not necessarily with Ron Paul, but with the Mises Institute. I started doing a lot of, studying of economics and stuff like that. People like Walter Block, I was really interested in, and that kind of put me into the anarchist mind state. Yeah. And then the last 2 to 3 years, I've been mostly just following your stuff, just because I like the. It's not mental masturbation. It's just right to the facts. You're not, all these things. You break it down and eliminate all the, if you have an opinion, support it. If you can't, shut up and stop pointing a gun at me.
Well, very true. But have you been able to, because a lot of times, this is just basically getting people to drop their contradictions. So what was the last contradiction that you can remember that just like, I can't do the minarchy thing anymore,
the last contradiction I had to become a full-fledged anarchist from minarchist. Oh, I'm probably assuming that it was like a defense thing. I can't remember. It's been a while. So, but it was probably like major defense, and I was like, wait, we don't need to have, you can't have one monolithic group defending everybody because that turns into what it is. So, if you want to defend yourself, or you can have someone else represent you if you want them to, but you can't do it by force.
That's actually where my wife's holdout, and even though she'll kind of defend it for whatever reason in public, but it's that thing, well, we need to have defense. We got that. But, like any other service, does that particular one mean you have to violate someone's life, liberty, property in order to provide that particular service? So she knows it's right. She knows. It's just, it's a tough one to get over, because now you're completely letting go of something that we all grew up with, right? Well, maybe the exception of these two guys over here. But we generally all have grown up with that. So how do you let that go and just, and have all, I know for me, because I did, back in, I came to the realization there was no citizen states or anything like that in '96. And then I read Spooner, I was like, holy crap. But how many people here had heard of Lysander Spooner in 1996? Wow. Even you, Paul? Wow. Now that, I would have thought that your hand would have went up there too. See, because at that time, the internet was still fairly new, right? And I had no idea that there was, I was like the lone guy that I thought at the time, because all the people that I knew at the time, so-called patriot types, thought I was insane. But you gotta have a government to do this. Really? So you probably have experience too, where you've got friends and that will say, well, what about this? What about that? How do you respond to that?
With the stand, well, sometimes it's hard, because then it really just comes down to them not having a real position. It's more just like I was talking to Calvin yesterday, we were talking about like how you deal with a child in the sense of like hitting children and stuff like that. And when I get into a conversation with someone about it, it's like, oh, that's the way it is, or that's, oh, my parents hit me. So, oh, we've always had a government, so gotta have government. It really comes down to that, unless you break through to them and you convince them, hey, these are just people with guns pointing them at you and trying to force you to comply with them.
Yeah, we're at a break. Yeah, basically what you're saying, that's with the logical fallacy, because I like to spend time, every show discussing that, just an appeal to tradition. And so I remember someone here at Libertopia saying, oh yeah, but we've always had slavery. And that kind of breaks that. We'll be back here live on the No State Project here at Libertopia 2014 in San Diego on LRN.FM, the Liberty Radio Network.